Hi, sorry to interrupt. I can't hear anything on your end. My volume's up, I swear. I
Say
can,
that you here.
oh, there you go. Oh, I can hear Danny.
Testing. You can hear now?
I can hear now. Thank you.
Danny, can you hear us?
Yep, loud and clear.
Up for guest, Danny Pearson, you is here to observe, sir. Do you have something you want to bring before the board?
Just here to observe.
Thank you, Danny. Everybody should have a copy of our November 7, 2023 meeting minutes. If you have not already done so, Clerk SIDAC has sent those out via email.
Make a motion to approve the previous meeting minutes as submitted.
Second.
Motion by Pearson, second by SIDAC. Any further discussion or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Everybody should have a copy of the treasurer's report in there. Nothing too outstanding. We did have the Torrey County Sheriff payment, which is the largest.
Nothing out of the ordinary.
Is that us putting a publication in there, the Journal Star?
Yes, that is the annual treasurer's report that we are required to publish once a year.
That was weird. Okay.
Yeah.
And the billing all goes to Ohio.
Yeah.
Gatehouse Media Illinois Holdings in
Yep.
Ohio. I don't. I'll make a motion to approve the treasurer's report and pay all outstanding bills. Second.
I have a motion by Chair Volley, second by Pearson. Any further discussion? We'll roll call it. Weaver?
Yes.
Miller?
Yeah.
Pearson?
Yes.
Chair Volley?
Yes.
SIDAC?
Yes.
Motion carries. Nothing from Brandon?
Nothing.
Abby, do you have anything this evening for us, ma'am?
Yes, I do. The memorandums for the pre-annexations have been recorded. I have finished my review of Title I of the new code draft. So Brian and Cassandra have my comments on that. And then I have an update about the CO2 pipeline. The petitioner has filed a motion to withdraw their application, but they're going to likely file a new application later on. But I just wanted to keep you all in the loop of what's going on with that. So.
Did they say why?
No, they didn't. And I haven't looked at the motion itself. I couldn't tell you at this time. So.
Wait, so
And it hasn't been granted by the judge yet either.
so petitioner motion to withdraw application. Could you attach some names to petitioner? And
Oh, sorry. Wolf Carbon Solutions, the one who's constructing the pipeline, is the petitioner. Sorry.
Is it likely they're looking at a different path potentially or no?
I think that's a potential issue, yeah. I think it might still go through the same counties probably, but I'm not sure about exactly. And I know their original plans weren't super concrete at the time. So yeah, I don't know. We'll have to wait for the judge's ruling on it.
Is there a reason the judge would not let them remove it?
There shouldn't be, but judges do kind of do whatever they want sometimes. So
Okay.
Every chance they're waiting for all the fuss to die down and then just put an application in later.
Well, yeah, trying to fake us out. That could be a
Any
reason
idea
for a
what the
judge to say
timeframe would
no.
be From hearing from the judge.
Resubmit the same plan a week later.
Abby, any idea what the time frame would be from hearing what the result of that is?
from my understanding, it's likely they'll file a new application in early 2024. So that'll just restart the entire process. So I know it kind of took them maybe 8 months to get to where they are now. So it's just going to push the timeline back even farther.
Don't the laws change in January?
Maybe. So I know the federal government is trying to pass more administrative regulations. So that's possible that could change and provide them new regulations they have to follow.
Maybe that's what happened, is they figured they weren't going to get there, and they're waiting for new regs or something.
I know Travis Weaver said that the state legislation is trying to as well, to have better control over people that want to do stuff like that. So it'll give them more time to pass legislation.
Could we create an ordinance from having that within our boundaries? I guess I'm kind of thinking how far out that is, because that wasn't too far out. Could
Yeah,
we?
you can try. I don't know if it'll stop them if they do end up coming through, but I mean, if you think it's worth a shot, we could definitely try it. But they could still get eminent domain power. So
Tear down Village Hall if they get that.
That's something I was thinking about when I heard about the withdrawal, was if we had an ordinance to help us. But they still have to get so many percentage of the landowners to for them to allow to do eminent domain, don't they, Abby?
I don't think so. I think they can just get the court to tell them they can do it.
I don't know. Travis Weaver told me 85%, I believe, last time we spoke. The landowners have to.
I think that was an ICC rule that before they would approve it, that they wanted to see 85% of the landowners involved or favorable.
Yeah, he didn't seem too worried about it at all.
Domain, they could just take,
They can.
because that's
But there's still things they would like to
basically
see.
what they did when they ran that pipeline through my property.
Well, look who they were dealing with.
But me. I would hate my family over that.
Anything else, Abby?
Nope, that was all I had.
Okay, well, thank you very much for the update on the CO2 pipeline. Greatly appreciated. Administrative report, Mr. Baylor.
Yeah, just the financials. The first slide, you can see for the month, we had income of $134,660 and expenses of $129,47. So we were $13,713 to deposit. Remember, the magic number for the cash is $21,500. That we would have enough cash to move over. So we didn't cover that, so it'll be negative cash for the month. But and I'll explain the expenses in a minute. Most of it's just timing. If you look at then the breakdown, general was still positive. Water was still positive. Sewer was still positive. Garbage was still positive. So we just weren't as positive as we thought we would normally be. Next slide, MFT. We had income and no expenses, and that's the way it'll be until we kind of run the year out. October TIF, we had pretty good income and just a few expenses. I believe those were administrative stuff with Jacob and Klein. BDD, the actual sales tax was a little bit better this month than it has been in the past, and we had a few expenses there. It's still doing good. And if you look at the monthly summary, so core funds was positive $14,000. General was plus $7K. Income was plus $14K in general. Expenses was negative $20. And these were the one-time only expenses. So we had board pay. We budget for it every month rather than the months that it hit. We might want to do that different next year. And all our insurance costs hit. Well, we budget for that once, $112 every month as well. But the expenses all hit this month. And so that's what caused the negative. Water was plus 2,200. Income was up 2,600. Expenses was plus 3K, but 5K of that was insurance costs that we allocate to water. Sewer was plus 3,200. Income was on budgeted. Expenses were negative, and again, we allocated 5K of the insurance to sewer, so that's what caused that to be negative. And garbage was plus 785. So even though we're negative for the month, we've had 6 months where we had budget for it, but didn't spend any. And then now for the rest of the time, we'll have budget for it, and we didn't spend any because we just divided it by 12.
What's the insurance?
It
What
is.
does that mean?
Risk
On
management.
what?
It's
on
the
everything.
Our liability of messing it up?
On
Yeah, it's our IML.
car insurance, property insurance.
I think
We
Risk
had
management.
authorized payment last time, I think, or the time before.
Yeah.
So they just hit.
Right, I guess I just didn't know it was on water.
Well, we just allocate it.
Well, we have water.
So we take the total amount and we allocate it to the different
You
businesses.
split it up.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Because we try to set it up to where each of the businesses kind of carry their own weight, if you will. Yeah.
Sure.
Then at MFT, we were plus 5K, no expenses. TIF is positive. BDD was positive, 9,700. And like I said, the sales tax, we're making back some of that ground back. Then if you look at year-to-date core funds, we had income of 872,802, expenses of 709,939. Remember, 97,000 of that is capital expenses that we carried money over from savings to cover. But our actual year-to-date were positive 162,863. And then I showed an adjusted of that where I back out the capital money so we could look at what we've actually budgeted and what we've actually spent. So we're 259,903 to the good if you back out the capital side. Income's better than planned. You can see that. And expenses, we were actually a little bit worse than planned year to date. And if you look at the core funds, again, the first slide is the core funds with the capital in it. And then the next is the core funds with the capital pulled out. So you can see year to date, general's positive 154. Water's positive almost 47,000, sewer's positive 53, and garbage is positive 5597 if you back out the capital. So doing pretty good. MFT year to date, we've got income of 27,756 and expenses of 70,000. So we'll be making up that 43,000 each of the months between now and the end of the year. TIF, we've got an actual income of just under $70,000 and expenses of $585, but what we approved for the coffee can hasn't hit yet, so that'll hit next month. And then eventually we have a rebate for the residential, 80% of the residential TIF money that'll come out of that. But we should be positive for TIF for the full year. BDD income was pretty much close to budget. Expenses were way over, but again, we've got the capital expenditures, or the project expenses that are going out for the grants. And we'll just catch up as we continue to move forward. So year to date, this is adjusted. We're positive around 260,000. General was plus 154. Income's better than budget. Our expenses were worse than budget. Some of that's timing with the insurance that we had this month. Water's plus 44, income's better than budget, expenses slightly worse than budget. I think what I'm noticing is when we have the slower months on water usage, we don't do as well on the water side. So we must have a pretty decent spread between our water purchased and our water sold. That makes sense. So if the volume's down, the amount of money that's there to cover the additional expenses is not as strong. But that should average out for the year. Sewer were plus 50,000, income's better than budget, expenses were on budget. Garbage income better, expenses on. So we're tracking pretty good. MFT expenses are done for the year, but the income should catch up to where a break-even point. TIF were positive. I need to do some work to improve the way we budget for that. I got to get a little bit ahead of myself the last couple of years. Eventually, Jacob and Klein give us some projections, and I think we need to incorporate those. But I got to see if I can get them in time for when we do the voting. Coffee can payout, the rebates are still coming. BDD, we're negative 28K, but income is negative, but it's improving. And we only have 2 outstanding grants. Actually, we only have 1 now. We just paid out the Rachel Sauter building up on 116.
Right.
So we only have the house right next to that they're siding right now.
Just the Buckskirk.
Right next to Buzzkirk's. So that should be done before the end of the year. If you look at cash checking, we've got 833,744. We had a monthly variance of 8521 positive. Water and sewer was, the P&L was plus 5,000, but we transferred 13,000 out, so that's part of the issue there. Year-to-date variance in checkings, we're still positive 114. Savings, we've got 1,064,806, up 23 for the month. Year-to-date, 40,000. And then our total, we have just under 1.9 million. That's up 31,000 for the month and 155 roughly year-to-date. So through 6 months, we're doing all right.
I forgot to ask, how good is our investment doing?
Yeah, the last month, well, we're probably averaging, what, 4,800 a month. I think we budgeted like about half that, though, because we weren't quite sure what it was going to do. But, yeah, we should do not quite 5,000, I would guess, a month. So 60,000 a year, probably 50 and some change for the year.
Which is great. What we were getting.
Huh?
What were we getting?
$40 a month.
Yeah. Wish we found that sooner. Yeah. We'd already have a new water tower.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else, Brian?
I could pay
That's it. Thanks.
Committee reports, Mr. Chervali.
I don't think I have anything this evening. Nope. I got nothing.
Planning and zoning, we don't have anything.
No.
Sanitary sewer, Mr. Pearson.
Yeah, we've got a lagoon blower that needs repaired. That's the quote that you've got there for RKE. Quotes for $3,328. Is this something that's already been done?
No. We had an electrical issue, and we think it was a surge, and it took them a while to figure it out, but it eventually caused the mower to. We're going to need to the motor to. We're going to need to replace it for the blowers to keep the water rolling.
Like the bubblers tanks?
Yeah.
Give Jeff a hose.
Hmm?
Give Jeff
I'm not far from there.
The one thing is, we do have ARPA money left, so this will be an ARPA spend.
Oh, okay.
All right, then I'll make a motion to pay the $3,328 for the Roy Keith Electric Company on the blower repair.
Second.
Motion by Pearson, second by Chervali.
Second
Or
by Side.
Sidak, sorry.
That's it.
I was looking at my notes from last time. Any further discussion? We'll roll call it. Miller?
Yes.
Pearson?
Yes.
Chervali?
Yes.
Sidak?
Yes.
Weaver? Motion carries.
The only other thing was a real small solar update. They were looking at placing the panels in a different way, one along the fence line, one along the tree line. I'm guessing that way it wouldn't have taken out so many trees.
Yeah, it's we actually what I did is I had the guy come out and I had Roger and Jim go out and take a look at it and kind of decide. But basically, they'll be running along that fence where your property.
I have to start from the beginning. Neither one of you were here, were you? When we talked
right,
about it.
Okay.
If we want to kind of start from the beginning on that topic.
Yes. So let's see if I've got.
Kind of an eyesore on the motocross track.
Don't worry, you're required to dust them every day.
So when the solar guy was here, it just got me thinking, where's most of our energy costs in the village? And 70% of it, we do about $5,000 a month, something like that, in energy costs with Ameren, and 70% of it's at the lagoon. And so I asked him to put together a proposal that said if we put panels out at the lagoon, could we cover the $3,500 a month or whatever that the cost is? And he ran the numbers. Long story short, we originally have to borrow like $500,000 to put it in. You get 40% back from the federal government month one. You get another 30% back from the state government over the next 5 months. So you have 70% back within 6 months. And then I showed a projection where basically at the end of the day, our out-of-pocket cost for the whole project is $16,000, a little bit less than that. And eventually we'll be saving, once it's paid for in about 4 years, we'll be saving like $32,000 a year. So the lagoon will become self-funded. We'll have money for capital. We won't have to allocate capital or anything there. We'll be paying the energy costs. There were some questions that you guys asked about. Basically, there's two ways you can do it. If it's before the meter or after the meter, that makes sense. So my understanding is what energy we use is going to draw from this first. And if there's power left over for a day or for a week or for a month, we get to store it, or we get the credit for that. Because there's times of the year where you'll be using more energy and times of the year where you won't. The trick is when you get to the end of the year, if you've got energy that's stored or whatever, or credits, they go away, you lose them. So the trick is to design the system to where it's basically break even for covering your energy costs for that particular area. The only thing we don't have yet, Cassandra's working on it, but is what our loan cap might be if we need to borrow, because we know we've got the water tower coming as well. But the people that we would be working with, they do the financing and everything, and it's an adjustable rate or adjustable mortgage. So you're not paying off, if you borrow $500,000, you're not, once it drops down to $260,000, you're only paying on the $260,000, and then every month when it drops down, you're paying on the lower amount. So eventually, if we decide we're going to do it, we'll have all the financials and everything that we need to bring to you all to talk about it. But we need to know what our loan cap is, and then I'll be back to pencil it out and decide to do it. But basically, then if it's at the very, I guess, north end of the lagoon, there's a fence that runs this way, and then there's a fence that runs right along your property this way. And this whole fence line here is about 360 feet. And then we'd have another 200 and some feet along the fence between the lagoon and your property there.
Because you still wanted to be able to get a truck all the way around the lake.
Right. Yep. There are a few trees that we're going to have to trim. We don't have to necessarily take them out just to get the shade off of it. But he wanted them as much of it as could facing south. Is what he said is optimal. So that's kind of reason we decided to do that. And we figured then we decided there wasn't really enough room to do 2 rows on the north end there. So we decided to do kind of more of an L shape version.
There's a pretty good distance between that fence and the berm.
There is.
Wherever's there.
Yeah. Yeah, 1 row of those isn't going to be that big a deal. But you'll have solar panels across the fence from.
We'll have you a big duster out there.
Yeah. Just take a leaf blower with you at the end. Whenever you're done, just blow them.
I got people that can do that.
We understand. We did ask about, we told them we told them that you guys ride bikes over there, and he said, yeah, I mean, they're going to get dirty from time to time anyway, but he said most of the time the rain and stuff they'll self-clean, and it's not that big a deal. But so he didn't think it was much of a problem. I think it's a real opportunity. I think when we did the math, we ended up
blows the other way anyway.
Huh?
The dust usually blows the other way anyway.
I think the project's like what we say is 20 years before you have to put any more money back into it, and then another 10 years after that. But all said, over the life of the project, I'd have to go back and look at it again. But what I say is like $700,000 we save over the life.
Even if you just give up in 20 years and you want to be done, or even do it again,
Save $700,000.
you're way ahead.
Right, and that doesn't count. Today we put $1,000 of capital, allocate $1,000 to the lagoon. Well, if we're covering our cost, that's $3,000 less energy that we're spending on the lagoon. So that'll fund whatever capital we need to take care of the lagoon. So
Blower motors.
That's it for sanitary sewer.
Okay. Water rate comparison.
I've got some numbers for you. We had 33 shutoffs for a total of $8,727.24. 0 level pay.
What does that mean?
Level pay is where someone's behind on their bill and they're ready to be shut off. We do have an agreement with them so that they can make payments. We won't charge them any penalties as long as they're making their guaranteed payments. If they don't make their payments, we shut them off and the level pay plan is void.
So basically what they do is we divide whatever they owe over like a 6-month period of time, and they have to pay that month's bill plus whatever that amount is, that level amount for them until it's all paid off.
And essentially, if they're offering to do something, we try not to shut them off. I've noticed. But there's that much outstanding right now.
Yeah, we have the process is usually the same. We have about 40 people that get shut off letters, and then it whittles down to what the actual day of shutoffs are usually.
I think it was 9 this month, which was high.
Yeah, but it's usually 4.
Oh, 7, my mistake.
That number sounds higher than normal.
It's usually 4 or 5.
Yeah, this is a high. Usually it's in the 20s. This hit 30s this time. Let's see. 4 foreclosures for $511.93. And approximate gallons sold, 2,179,025.
That foreclosure means houses foreclosed on in the city. Is that what that means?
And then I think
Man, it seems like is there that many houses in the village of Kansas City getting foreclosed on?
Yeah.
Because it's every month there's some on it.
And some are bought and then re-foreclosed on and just.
Yeah.
Where? Where are they? We feel like I never see.
address here.
I don't see anybody move out.
The 511.93. Where's that? What's that?
That's outstanding payments. The houses are in foreclosure.
There's 4, and the total amount's only 500.
Yeah, because 2 of them didn't have any. There's 4 foreclosures, but 2 had 0 to owe, and then there's 1 owed 128, 1 owed 153.
but they might have.
Wait a minute. Say that
Deposits.
again.
Showing that there's 4 foreclosures. 2 of them have 0. One has $128.23. One has $153.30.
Those numbers don't add up.
No, they don't.
Well, and I'm like,
Because that's only 281.53.
we'll figure it out later. That's her total.
Just make a note on it and leave it on Tracy's desk. Have her explain it.
We separate the foreclosures just so you know that you're probably not going to get that money. Is that way?
I don't know. I don't know why the report was originally done. That's it's always been
Because a
that.
lot of times we would set liens on properties.
And you're still doing that.
If they're already in foreclosure, we can.
Right.
They're gone. Yeah. That's,
The one thing we are going to do as once we get into the code is when we get to the part on water deposits, we're going to make a recommendation that because the pricing's gone up, that we increase the deposit moving forward for new people so that we cover make sure we're covering our losses.
Yeah. Not sure, because there is like the $100 deposits. I thought maybe that played into it somewhere, but it still doesn't add up to it. I'll find out. End of report.
Business grounds, Mr. Weaver. Nothing to report. Personalities, Mr. Weaver. Nothing to report. CDC, Mr. Sydak.
I have nothing to report.
Hey.
Mr. Miller, administration, reports.
I only have October 29th to November 4th, just 3 calls. Fire, a panhandler, and a motor vehicle stop.
Panhandlers.
Yeah, on Phil Gold.
Gold?
A panhandler on
Solicitor.
Phil Gold. I thought that's what it said.
It's probably soliciting.
Well,
And did you say through November 4th?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, I did see on Penn State Happening, there was some guy going around
Yeah.
selling
let's see.
something.
It says, come on.
Because then Tracy said, yeah, that we don't have any permits out right now.
Yeah, I remember seeing that too. But I don't remember what they were doing. They said what they were doing.
Ameren, I thought. Energy.
Yeah, I think so.
Probably solar.
No, Brad Court, who's the panhandler. The fire, it says 220 North 1st Street. But it says county fire. But that's, I don't know.
It says county and fire.
I know that
It
we
just
had,
says
they had
county
a,
fire. There's no slash. So I don't know if they're supposed to be.
they had a
That makes more
cornfield
sense.
once that caught on fire, I remember one day. That was
Say you burning the cornfield.
Again.
Uh-huh.
Again.
You trying to popcorn?
Oh, I've done it before. I've had a fire too, but it wouldn't be.
Anything else?
No, that's it.
Anybody else have anything else come before the board?
Just a comment, you saw probably from my email that we do have around 300 people on the app in just a few, I guess, 3 weeks. So our goal is we'd like to have every home representative, which would be 650-ish. We have 520 or 30 on our Facebook page, so.
I know my daughter and my wife both have it, and I have it, so.
Yeah, so but we're working, Tracy's working on a direct mailer that would go to everybody's home. So once that's done, should help. You guys getting the notifications?
Yep.
Did you get one that your bills were due? That your water bill that one didn't come through?
No.
I think I got it.
I didn't get a push notification for that.
I didn't get that.
I've only gotten garbage. The garbage stuff.
Yeah, I sent her notes. Those are supposed to be getting. Hey, your bills are due tomorrow or whatever.
It reminds me too early about my garbage.
Oh, no, that was email.
I wish I could change the time.
Huh?
It was, I got an
You
email.
come in at like 10 p.m.
Are you signed up for the?
5:36.
Auto.
Oh, I thought
we
it
don't
came
wanna
out like
bother
at
you.
2 or 3.
It might be that.
Yeah.
It's 5 o'clock. It was
Is it
6
5?
o'clock, but then when
Yeah.
daylight savings came in, it's now 5. So you should be getting the garbage thing at 5 o'clock. But
Can you guys
on
change
Sunday,
that?
we can't.
I mean, not that you should.
I mean,
It might work
yeah.
better for most, but just usually wait till the very end of the day when you throw your dinner out.
I
you
like to
know.
go out before it gets too dark.
That's true. I like to go out at 12 a.m.
Which is like 3:30.
I don't like to go out at all, to be honest.
So if nothing else come before the board. Next board meeting is December 5th, 2023. Meeting adjourned. Thank you, Abby. Thank you, Danny.
You're welcome. Have a good night.
You too.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Oh, yeah.